Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. Before we get started, one quick thing. You might have noticed I'm packing. I'm moving some part of this week at some time. And so I've got, boxes everywhere and stuff. So ignore that, please. Or, look at them and be like, oh wow, cool. That's a cool Black Widow thing you had there. It is cool. So I didn't release any new releases last night, mainly because there wasn't anything too interesting that came out yesterday except for this movie. And I actually bought tickets to go see this in a theater. Now that I have my license, I can just go do that, which is pretty cool. But I was going to film this last night. I was going to film and release it last night. It would have been like 12 o'clock. But I really wanted to let this stew because I have a lot of thoughts on this movie, mainly being somebody who grew up loving musical theater and stuff like that. So I slept it in and I was like, all right, I'm going to think about this for a bit before I give my final rating. And I did. So I'm really excited to talk about In the Heights. In the Heights was released in 2021. It was written by Chiara Allegria Udes and directed by John M. Chu. And from the brainchild of Lin-Manuel Miranda, who, as you know, probably, is like the brainchild of Hamilton. I am not a huge Hamilton fan. I just put that right out there. I don't really care for the show that much. I also am not a huge rap guy. I like rap in musicals. I think it works really well. I don't really get why we had to do it for Hamilton, but I don't listen to rap like without it being in a show, right? And I think it worked for this show. I really do. I think that this show works really well in terms of its music and and how it all corresponds together. I think it works really well. I do, however, think that this is not a perfect movie. So I'm going to talk about what I don't like first, and then I'll go on to talk about what I liked, which there's a lot of both. And really, at the end of the day, I do want to preface this first with there's no spoilers, of course, but also with I think this is a really good movie. Like, I don't want you to, like, listen to all my bad thoughts first and be like, oh, he's going to hate it. I really liked it. I really, really enjoyed it. I probably would watch it again. I probably will watch it again. But probably not right away. So let's start with some of the negatives. First of all, holy crap, it is long. It is long. I don't actually know the runtime of it. I usually do. I didn't Google it this time because I was going to the movie theater, so it's not going to really matter. Wow, it was long. By the time the blackout hit in the movie, I thought it was going to be over, but no, there was still like an hour after that. It was ridiculous. And, like, I guess, please ignore that. My sister is being annoying. But it was extremely long. And I don't think it benefited the story at all. I really don't. I think that there were things they could have cut. In fact, there was really this whole romance thing going on between two of the side characters. They're main characters, but they're not, Usnavi and Vanessa. That I honestly think probably could have been reduced a little bit. I can't remember their names for the life of me, but I think her name is Rita. Maybe her last name is Rita. I don't know. Really, really, really slow. And we did not need all of that. We really, really, truly did not need all of that. I get that it makes for a really cool, romantic, cool running up and down the building scene that honestly looked really cool, but we didn't really need it, to be honest with you. I do also want to talk about one thing that also bothers me in most musical movies. This isn't just this one. This is just them in general. I don't like it when they don't sing on set. And you can kind of tell they didn't do that here. It's pretty easy to tell. And there are lots of, I get why they do it, right? I do, because it's hard to capture sound on a set. There's always background noises. There's always issues with, things bouncing back and forth and all that jazz. And I get the issue. I really do. I know why they do it. I just hate it, right? Because there's an issue with the separation of voice and in your brain and seeing things, right? They're different, but they connect together. They make one big thing of understanding in your brain. And the issue is, right, if you watch somebody say something, but you hear something different, that's going to freak your brain out, right? And so I'm sitting here in the movie theater, and, like, I mean, this is an intense example that, like, it did happen, but it's intense. There are other times where it's less intense, where, like, they're just walking around rapping, and, like, you can just tell that, like, their vocal cords aren't moving. They're just, like, or maybe they're just talking about it. But, like, the main issue is that the emotion that you see is not as intense as what's in the song, right? There's this one part where it's opposite, where Vanessa's singing this really cool song while she's running through the streets, and she's running through the streets, like, but you hear this beautiful song coming out of her, and it's like, I get why they do it, but, like, it bothers me a lot. And that's a big thing about movie musicals that always bothers me a lot, is it feels like there's a lack of emotion that they can display, right? Like, you get a lot of the emotion when they're singing slow songs, when they're, like, sitting in their apartments and stuff, that's great. But when you're, like, singing these powerful songs, and, like, you're running, and, like, you're not even breathing hard at the end of it, like, what's the point, right? That's why I like regular musical theater. When you go to the theater, at the end of this big song, you know, they're, like, dancing all around, and then all of a sudden they end it with this huge pose, and they're like... and, like, you can see the work. But at the end of every song in a movie musical, you don't get all of that. They just go back to normal. And, like, that is a problem for me. I think it's just this gap in emotion. All of that being said, I still think this is a really great movie. I did enjoy the story. I think the story was great. I liked how we had the heat wave. It reminded me of Do the Right Thing a lot, actually. And then we have, you know, this cool little block. And I grew up in a small neighborhood. I mean, back when I was younger, I knew everybody on my block. But now I live somewhere else, and now I'm going to be living somewhere else that I really don't know anybody, so that'll be interesting. But, like, I like the family kind of feel of it. I like Uznavi a lot. I like how he got his name. That was really funny. I like the Hamilton reference from the when they're on the phone. The elevator music is one of the songs from Hamilton, which I think they thought that I wasn't going to get it because I don't really care for Hamilton, but I have listened to it. Like, when I say I don't care for something, that means I have watched it, and I have, like, ingested it and didn't like it, right? I'm not going to say I don't care for it and then not have watched it. That's like saying I don't really like eggs, but you've never eaten eggs. So it's like, but I did catch that, and I did enjoy it. I think it was funny. The characters are really where it's at here in this film. The characters are fantastic, relatable, and easy to understand, right? So you have this character, we'll talk about them now, starting with Anthony Ramos as Usnavi. Now, Usnavi, he is living in Washington Heights, and he wants to move back to Puerto Rico because that's where he had the best days of his life with his father. The issue here is that, you know, he doesn't really want to leave the Heights. He loves it here. He's got a family, a community, and a bunch of people that he can support and love. And it's this battle between, like, Puerto Rico and Washington Heights, and, like, is he a Puerto Rican? Can he be a Puerto Rican in Washington Heights? Is it okay for him himself to give up his dream of going to Puerto Rico just to stay in this small little block with a bunch of people who he cares about? And it's a really, really cool story. And I like the story of his cousin, too. I didn't actually mention him in my list here, but I think his cousin was probably my favorite character. He's really cool. But Ramos here is just stunningly phenomenal. Like, he's perfect. I don't think anybody could play the role better. He just emulated this attraction of feelings, right? Like, even when he was talking about something happy, you felt the sadness behind it, right? And, like, it was really, really well done. I am excited to see what he does next, and I think that this might be seen at the Academy. I think the Academy could see this and be like, hey, that was a really good performance. And honestly, as of right now, I mean, there's not a whole lot in terms of, like the Academy's going to love it. There's not a whole lot out this year. That, of course, usually all of the stuff comes out later, closer to the Academy, because that way it's right in their brains. That's the smart thing to do. But I don't think that this will go amiss. I think that this will win something in the Academy Awards this year. And I think a good chance is Best Actor for Anthony Ramos in a musical or drama. But I suppose we'll see. Melissa Barrera as Vanessa. Vanessa's awesome. She's just this artist who's thinking about clothes in, like, a really cool, like, unique, imaginative way. But she has a hard time getting a place and has a hard time starting her business. And that's where Uznavi comes in to help. And, you know, they have a strong attraction for love. And it is cute and beautiful. And I like her character a lot. And she does a really, really beautiful job. And these are just two of the characters that were all great. I mean, they were all really, really great to watch and really fun. I had no issue with acting. In fact, I think the acting is what saved this movie and made it to the next level. I should say, not saved it, but it did elevate it, in my opinion, because we started off with a it's a musical, and musicals, first of all, they don't really bring in that much money on average, right? Because you have the diehard musical fans, you have the people who are like, okay, well, I might as well, and then you have the people who are like, I hate musicals. And it's complicated. In this one, you really do bring in a whole new group of people with this one, because it is a family drama, basically, and people like this kind of stuff, and it's a great movie. The music, I should mention, is really good. I liked it. I don't really like that a lot of it was in Spanish, which, like, I get because they're Spanish, but, like, as a person who doesn't speak Spanish very well, it was annoying. However, I was able to pick up most of the things that they were saying because I went to high school and I took college Spanish and all that stuff, and I'm used to be really good at Spanish. But, like, I brought my buddy Eric, and he was so confused the whole time. Like, when it came to the Spanish, he was like... something to think about when you're creating a movie for people who are, who speak Spanish. Most of the people that watch this movie are probably going to speak English. But I get why they did it, of course. Overall, I'll wrap it up here. It's a longer video than I thought. In the Heights is a really, really great movie. It's fun to watch. It's energetic. It's entertaining. There are just a lot of issues with it that I couldn't get over, really. Particularly the length. And I don't like how movie musicals do that dumb thing where they don't film on set. All this being said, I'm going to go ahead and give In the Heights an A-. It's not my favorite movie of the year so far. It is a good blockbuster. I liked it. It's fun to watch. It just is not quite up there on my favorites. It's probably down to like 4th or 5th this year so far. In case you guys were wondering where I'm at right now in terms of like what my favorite movies were, number 1 is A Quiet Place 2. Number 2 is Paper Spiders. And number 3... I can't think of number 3 right now. I don't know. I mean, part of me wants to say Judas and the Black Messiah, but I didn't really enjoy it as much as most people did. I don't know. I'll get back to you on that. But definitely Quiet Place 2 and Paper Spiders. And honestly, Paper Spiders might be a little bit better in my opinion at this point. The more I think about that movie, which I've been thinking about it for like 2 months now, the more I'm like, I want to watch it again, but it's not out on streaming or DVD or anything yet, so I need to like wait till it gets out there. But yeah, In the Heights is good. I do recommend it. It is on HBO Max, and you can go to the theater right now to watch it. So if you guys are interested in doing that, go ahead and do so. Please consider subscribing, because once we hit 150, I'm dressing up like Spider-Man going to Walmart, and I'm really excited to do that, so please consider subscribing. And as always, keep watching movies and television, stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.